कृष्णव्रता कृष्णमनुस्मरन्तः रात्रौ च कृष्णं पुनरुत्थिताः ते कृष्णदेहा प्रविशन्ति कृष्णम् आज्यं यथा मन्त्रहुतं हुताशे बुद्धिर्बलं यशो धैर्यं निर्भयत्मरोगता अजाढ्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्. The Lord says, what happened, Arjuna? Swami, I took a vow that I will die by this evening if I don't kill Jayadratha. The Lord says, die. Everybody who is born has to die. Jatasya dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Don't quote the Gita now, Krishna. I am not in the mood to listen to the Gita. I want help from you. Don't worry, Arjuna. I will light the fire for you and you go around the fire, have my darshan and go to moksha. No, Krishna. I don't want moksha now. I want to take revenge as a Kshatriya father. The Lord says, I will create an artificial night. And when the night is created, this man called Jayadratha will peep out of his hiding. And he does so. And as he comes out, the Lord says, shoot at his head. His father has taken a vow. He who makes the head of my son fall will have his head cut off. So see that both father and son die together. His father is doing Vandana. Go and see that the son's head goes and falls into the hand of the father. That is how the Lord on the battlefield of the Mahabharata makes day into night and night into day, my dear listeners. That is what he can do. That Lord is asking for a cup of milk, says the Gopi. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Uddhava was here for a long time. Every day he wanted some Leela of the Lord or the other. While he's going back, this is just a advice, appeal, call it what you will. Some people come to Tirumala for socializing. They want to give their business card. I tell them the business card has no business here. You are a Jivatma coming to the Paramatma. Does not matter who you are. Outside the temple you introduce yourself, not within the temple. When he came to Vrindavan, he was known as Vrishninam Pravaro Mantri Krishnasya Daitas Sakha. Shishyo Brahaspate Sakshat Uddhavo Buddhi Sattamaha. But what is he now? Krishna Leela Katham Gayan Ramayamasa Gokulam Krishnam Samsmarayan Reme Haridaso Vrajaukasam. Now his name is Haridasa. His name is Haridasa. As he's going back, many of us want something or the other from the Lord. What does he want? Asamahu charanarenu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalatau shadhinam yas dustyajam swajaram aryapatham chahitva bhejur mukunda padavim shrutibhir vimrigyam. The footsteps of the Lord are sought for, are searched for by the gopis. And what are the footsteps of the Lord? Just sought after by the scriptures. Shrutibhir vimrigyam. They gave up everything and ran after the Lord, morning, evening. They did not bother. They did not bother who was looking at them. They did not bother about what the world was talking about them. They only wanted Krishna. That is why I want to be maybe a small sprout, maybe a small creeper, maybe a root in Vrindavan, so that when you are passing by, the great gopis and the dust of their feet may purify my existence. He meets the Lord, and the Lord must be asking him, how was Vrindavan? He says, Krishna, you sent me for a message or with a message? What was your plan? The Lord has a master plan. We think we are planning. How can we plan? He is planning. He is master planning. And you just fall in place. That's all. You just fall in place. Then you say, oh, I also plan. You didn't plan. He did the planning and you only executed the plan. Today is looking at that direction where you have Vrindavan, and he says, I bow down not to Vrindavan, not to the gopis of Vrindavan, not to the feet of the gopis of Vrindavan, but to the dust of the feet of the gopis of Vrindavan. Vande Nanda Prajastrinam Padarenum Abhikshnashaha Yasam Harikathodgitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Those who have worshipped the feet of the Lord are blessed people, like our Bharata. No wonder our great Bhattadri says, Evam bhakti sakala bhuvani nekshita nashrutava. Such bhakti has not been heard of. The bhakti of the gopis has not been heard of. Nekshita nashrutava. Neither have we seen such a bhakti, nor have we heard of such bhakti. Kim shastru gaihi kimiha tapasa. Raise your hands. Gopikabhyo namostu. Gopikabhyo namostu. Gopikabhyo namostu. Why do you have to read Shastras? Don't sin. Just say Gopikabhyo namostu. Salutation to the gopis. Why should you read the Shastras and confuse yourself? Just remember their bhakti. Naradji writes a book called Narada Bhakti Sutra. He defines bhakti. Parama prema rupa, absolute love for the absolute. Parama prema rupa. Who are the exemplars of bhakti? Yatha vrajagopikanam. 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 The only exemplars of bhakti are the gopis. None is equal to them. We bow down to them. Gopikabhyo namostu. We pass on to the next important episode, and that is Rukmini Vivaha. Man by himself is a wonderful creation of God. His talents, his efficiency, his value sense, his faith, even his weakness make him stand out as unique. A further thought comes to one's mind. How lonely would man have been without his spouse? What a lovely association between man and woman was formed by God and propagated by man. This beautiful institution of marriage is a sensitive subject for discussion. I hope the audience will forgive me for my frankness and candor. Marriages are of several sorts: arranged marriages, disarranged marriages, farcical marriages, marriages of convenience, marriages of exploitation, marriages as Vanity Fair, marriages as heavy crosses borne by either party in sheer despair, marriages which start with passion and end up in divorce, marriages which are genuine commitment between soul and soul, where physical bonds dissolve in spiritual unison. There are such marriages also. My grandfather used to make coffee for my grandmother in the 70s. And all of us, those days, little children always clapped around the grandparents. We loved our grandmother. She was a mystic. She was a great Panduranga Bhakta. She is the one who inspired us with bhakti. So early in the morning, he would say, listen, listen. Not calling her by the name, but say, listen. So all of us would get up by 4:30 and say, listen, listen, stereophonic. And she'd say, why did you get up? Why does grandfather make coffee for you, Mama? Why does he make? Because he knows how much milk, how much decoction, and how much sugar. Oh God. Today, if a man returns from office and the wife is busy, she's tired, and the cook is on leave, you tell him, darling, please make a cup of coffee for me. Bearer samjha humko. Don't know who I am. Who the hell does it matter who you are? You are one and the same. You are together. I want that ego to dissolve in marriage. My dear listeners, strange enough, the marriage mantras are understood only by the priest. And I think he gets married over and over again. As time passes, children are born. Parents are so busy bringing them up that they have scarcely time for themselves. The child should be a strong link between the parent and not a biological accidental byproduct. I'm harsh, but I'm truthful. Did you not create the child with love? Do you not want to give something to society, your own flesh and blood in the best form, so that the world may benefit by him or her? It is a united effort of parents to bring forth by God's grace a specimen of human nature, a beautiful flower in the garden called family. Time passes on and children grow up and parents grow older and find time only to solve their children's problems. If children are abroad and leave their parents alone, the middle-aged couple find separate pastimes. If both of them come for the katha, clap for them. My appeal to all my listeners is keep the institution of marriage alive. Men are from Mars and women from Venus. Each one has his or her own lovable identity. Never throttle one's real emotion. When you were in love, when you got engaged, please remember that you wrote poetry on her. If you couldn't write, at least you borrowed poetry. Where is that love gone? Where are those days gone? Why has life become digital? Why has it become mechanized? Please remember, it takes one to seek a divorce, but two to make the marriage survive. It takes one to seek a divorce and two to make the marriage survive. I had the privilege of attending the 70th wedding anniversary of B.K. Birlaji and Sarlaji. 70th wedding anniversary. They were in their 90s. And Birlaji said, Premaji, she chooses my tie. She chooses my handkerchief. I said, yes, Bhai Sahab, 70 years she's been doing this. I had tears in my eyes. She said, this is the watch you should wear. These are the shoes you should wear. I said, yes, Bhai Sahab. For 7 decades she's been doing this. It's really touching to see a couple together for 70 years. And today, 2 years after the wedding, the girl is saying, God knows how many years I have to live with you. Because you drink Limca and she drinks Coca-Cola. What does it matter? What does it matter? Incompatibility is not the outcome of a marriage. You have to understand each other. My dear listeners, this is what I wrote some years back. Recently, this is what I want to share with you. I wrote, the vows of marriage according to Hinduism bind man and woman towards all aspirations. Most children don't understand what the wedding is for: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All the 4 aspirations are there when you're holding the woman's hand and going around the fire. They have to be supporting each other through thick and thin. They are complements and not competitors. Why do marriages fail? Some are silent divorces, some are active divorces. After children grow up, somewhere common interests seem to fade away. The bond becomes thinner and thinner. For fun, I say, the day you first held the woman's hand, it was so thrilling. 25 years later, you have your wedding anniversary and children are asking you, shake hands. The law of diminishing returns works. No. Dine dine navam navam. What does Elizabeth Barrett Browning tell her husband? Don't love me for my hair, it'll grow grey. Don't love me for my cheeks, I may have wrinkles. Don't love me for my eyes, they may become faded. But love me for love's sake, that we may love on through love's eternity. Love for love's sake. I want marriages to be kept alive. Your children will say, so old and so loving. That's a compliment you should get. You can't have men and women having separate pastimes. I want you to remember, sometimes there is a straying away from marital bonds to extramarital relationship. This leads to pain in the affected party. Usually it's the woman who puts up with it for the sake of children. When it is a man, he braves it before the world, but takes to addiction and solitude. Most families lack the strong bond of man and wife, which makes the children realize they are living in a house, not a home. One day in Presidency College, I was returning from the library after reading a book. I didn't look at the watch, it was pretty late. Presidency is a very old college, built during British times. As I was walking down the corridor, in an empty classroom, I found one of my students, one girl, just lying with her head on the table. I said, "Hey, why don't you go home?" "Home, madam? What is home? What is home?" I said, "I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?" "No, ma'am. Papa comes home at 2, mother comes at 3. You call that home? With servants there. It's not a home, ma'am, it's a house. I could be living in a hotel." I felt sad. Beautiful girl. And somebody told me she's taken to drugs. I said, "Did you have lunch?" "Lunch? Has anybody asked me this question in life, ma'am? You're the first one." I said, "I'm sorry." Luckily that day I had not eaten my lunch. So I had my tiffin box. I opened it and I said, "Eat, child, eat." She looked into my eyes. She could scarcely eat. She was crying. Her tears were the tears of gratitude. My dear listeners, make life happy for your children. Come together to make life happy for your children. How to make a marriage successful? Call me Didi, call me Amma, call me Amama, it does not matter. Only a strong spiritual leaning can keep man and woman together. Clap. Nothing else can bind man and woman together. Their belief must be one, their behavior must be one. Marriage and morality have to go together. Mother Sita follows Lord Rama into the forest for 14 long summers and 14 long winters because he looks at every woman as Kausalya. Clap for my Lord. Like Kausalya, for him every woman is mother. Even by accident he does not stray away from the path of virtue. Morality becomes a part of one's nature when one realizes the need for purity and commitment to one's life partner. Among the 4 aspirations, are you listening? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Usually it should be Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. But in usage, we always say Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha. Why? Because Artha and Kama are like a river and Dharma and Moksha are like the bank. The river should not overflow the bank. Artha and Kama has to be under control of Dharma. That is why life becomes happy. If a marriage has to be successful, please remember, the perfect man does not get the perfect woman. We don't have the best husband or the best wife, but that is the best marriage which sees the best in each other. Each one has a guna. Zoom that guna. And then you love the person forever. We can't have gods, we can't marry gods and goddesses. We are human beings, but each one has a guna. Please exaggerate that guna. Zoom that guna, and you will see how life becomes beautiful. Both the partners should share each other's problems. What a human being needs in life is concern, care, understanding, patience, forgiveness. Man and woman are a two-wheeler. They need an alignment between them for smooth running of life. Where do most differences start? After the wedding, most families say, your family and my family. Please don't say that, say our family. Your mother's family and my mother's family are one and the same. Only then there will be happiness for everyone. We come to past times. After looking at the life of a man and woman, you then analyze the past times. Each one of us has a past time. Today's couple has reached a stage when they cannot watch a movie together. They have separate TVs in separate rooms. You watch your movie, I watch my movie. Doesn't matter if he likes cricket, even if India is falling or failing, you watch it. If your wife likes a sentimental movie, sit with her and cry if she's crying. At least pretend to cry when the heroine is crying. Why don't you have sympathy? Men are from Mars and women from Venus. I wouldn't like to be a man. Clap. I want to be a woman. Whatever be my faults, I have my virtues too. So let men be men and women be women and respect each other for their individuality. Each partner should play, I want the husbands to know that. Each husband has to play the role of Matrivat Pitrivat Priyaha. Mother Anasuya is asking Sita, why do you follow this fellow? This fakir, for 14 years, he doesn't even have a credit card. He can't do shopping for you. He doesn't have a maid for you. You have to do all the work yourself. Why do you follow him? Because he is like a mother, like a father, and like a beloved. The quality of the mother is to give endlessly. I was very happy to see that Miss Universe became Miss Universe because she praised the mother. Clap. Question answer. The question was, who is the highest paid person in the world? The mother. The mother is the highest paid person because of her sacrifice. Nobody can equal the sacrifice of a mother, my dear listeners. Nobody. That is why Adi Shankaracharya weeps when his mother dies. Mother, when I was in your womb, you did not eat anything hot or pungent because it would hurt me. When I was small, you gave me payasam, and now I am putting raw rice into your mouth, mother. Heartless fellow that I am. The mother is a mother. Her sacrifice is something incomparable. Matrivat, Pitrivat, Priyaha. Who is the father? Father protects you with care. And of course, the beloved loves you forever. Incompatibility is the result of unequal partners. But let me tell you, both partners cannot be equal. One will be higher, one will be lower. But you should enjoy being the partner of a celebrity. Either way, how to keep married life interesting? Remember to open your wedding album now and then. Go down memory lane and refresh your memory. Remember the birth of your first child and reenact the joy of that day. Every wedding anniversary, besides the usual party, pray at the shrine for a happy married life to continue. Above all, please serve God and man together and see how life becomes never dull for a moment. Piety and purity make the marriage bond strong, and children born of these are not naughty brats, but infants of grace. Never can love sustain itself on physical attraction or admiration. What matters is emotional maturity. The beauty of the heart outlasts the charm of the face. We have seen handsome couples part and ugly couples love each other till the end. Always let the couple think of those who are economically inferior to them. Differences arise when we compare ourselves to those who are superior and make life miserable. A family that prays together stays together. A family that eats together stays together. A family that gives to each other more than demanding stays together. A family that accepts the hand of God stays together. A family that develops love, harbors peace, and fosters faith stays together. Let the ideal husband hold his spouse like the jewel of his heart and not a decorative, dispensable diamond type-in. She's not a decorative piece, she's a jewel of the heart. She's part of his being. What makes marriages last is transparency. None of us is perfect. But if we have committed a mistake, we should confess to each other and forgive each other. Only then the marriage will last. Transparency creates a faith in each other. Marriage bonds, paradoxically, are silken and steel-like. Both. They are silken and steel-like. Gentlemen, a word of advice from Didi. If you encounter a Shurpanaka falling head over heels in love with you, please use the online shopping badge sold out. So that she doesn't have great expectations. When Shurpanaka looks at the Lord and says, "You're so handsome, I've fallen for you," he says, "I'm already married. This is my beautiful wife. No chance of a divorce." She is there. Ego is a deadly bane in married life. Man and wife are equals, and pride has no place in that. If there is ego, it spoils everything. It vitiates the atmosphere, defiles the purity, deletes virtue, obliterates patience, wipes out all compassion and understanding between man and wife. These are my thoughts on marriage. I know that you will find this a different type of a Bhagavatam, but I couldn't help it. Somebody had to tell someone somewhere, and I hope the SPBC channel will tell as many young people how to make marriage successful. You can't go on changing life partners like shirts and dresses. No. How can you do that? This is my fourth wife and my fifth husband, you can't say. In India, we were born for steadiness. We were born for steadiness. We held on to each other through thick and thin. Now is the time when my master is going to marry Mother Rukmini.